The Head Down Products Glock 43 RX1 carry package. Let's check it out. Head Down Products out of Dallas, Georgia started out producing AR-15s. A lot of really cool designs. In fact, one of my favorite AR-15s is the Deceptus. It's a breakdown version of the AR. It's really a beautiful rifle. Not long after that, they started getting Glock police trade-ins and doing a lot of custom work. In fact, I have one of the Model 22s that was done by Head Down Products, one of their first custom jobs, and it's an excellent handgun. But over that time, they've really perfected their art. And today we're going to take a look at the RX1. This is the Glock 43, and it is the ultimate concealed carry package. This is a great little pistol. But one of the things about it is the price is fantastic. So let's take a look at a lot of the features and things they're doing to these pistols. Now, Glock perfection is definitely a myth. I mean, Glocks are plain simple. They're Spartan. They function. I mean, they're great guns. They've proven themselves over the years. But there are a lot of guys that like to do things to improve on the perfection. That's one of the things we have here with the Head Down RX1 Glock 43 package. This is an ultimate low profile concealed carry package. At least that's what they say on their website, and it is. It's the one thing about the 43 is how thin it is. It's really easy to carry. It's easy to conceal, and you still have 6 or 7 rounds plus 1 in the chamber. And of course there are extended magazines, and there's a ton of aftermarket support for these pistols. But there are some things that you need to send to a gunsmith or someone who really knows what they're doing to really perfect these. And so Head Down in Dallas, Georgia, Lee, Queen, and the guys down there, they're just top-notch. I've been dealing with them for a number of years, and it's been a while. It's been a while since I've done anything with Head Down, but I really love their products, and I like that they are a Southern company right outside of Atlanta. First thing we're going to do is make sure the gun's unloaded, so we're going to drop the mag and check the chamber, and it's empty. You have your standard Glock mag. This one has the little finger rest on it. But one of the things that they do right up front, which a lot of people have complained about with the Gen 5, is no front serrations. Now, Glock has their new serrated model that has the front serrations. They've done a diamond checkering pattern on here that is really very well executed. I mean, it is a beautiful finish, and it's really easy to grab. And those diamonds are so easy to be able to do your press checks, or, you know, just racking the slide and being able to enter another round. It just gives you another option toward the front of your handgun. And you can see how detailed the cuts are. I mean, it is an excellent, very beautiful pattern to it. And again, right here on the other side. And it's definitely functional compared to your standard serrations here. Of course, what is a Glock without its stippling? And so they have done a really pinpoint stippling right here on the panels, on the back strap, right here in a small section on the front strap, and then on the other side, obviously. But it kind of gives it frames it in, which I really think is a nice touch to it. And so when you're grabbing it, really it's between this point and this point where, you know, you need to have that gripability. On the sides, it's not quite as important. So this really gives you a lot, and then it still keeps this framed in, which I think is really nice. Now, another thing that they've done is they've Cerakoted the slide, and you have a number of color options that you can go with. Now, this is the black. One that I really like is the battle-worn FDE and the battle-worn gray, which they'll do as well. It's a beautiful finish. It makes the whole pistol, in fact the frames also been Cerakoted on those models. Now, this has just the standard frame finish. There's nothing that's been done to it, just the slide, which gives it an extra sheen to it, makes it nice, very smooth, and especially for concealed carry you want some smoothness. But that's also something about these Serrations, is it's not going to pick. When you have this concealed, especially in your holster, drawing it out, it's not going to pick on your clothes and on your shirt. One thing that's really big is this undercut right at the trigger guard. It allows you, number one, to get your hand a little bit higher up on the pistol, on the grip of the pistol. It keeps you from getting that Glock knuckle. It's one of the things most companies do, especially if they're doing custom work, is to relieve this area. In fact, I will do this on each of my pistols. I take a Dremel and I bear it out. But one of the things they've done, they've done a very good job of finishing this out. And so it's not rough. I mean, everything is just has a very professional look to the entire pistol. The top of the slide has the head down slide cuts. This is optional, but it does reduce the weight of the slide. And so that means you don't have as much mass coming back towards you when you're firing. It does cut down somewhat on the recoil. Now on this model in particular, they've added night sights to it. They do offer that as an option, but typically you'll just get your standard factory sights unless you choose to get the True Glow night sights, which these are True Glow. The RX1 package comes with your standard trigger. We're going to look at the polishing job that they've done on this trigger to make it a lot smoother, a little more crisp. In fact, they also offer different barrels if you want to go with that. And again, we've already talked about sights. There are a lot of options. The only thing that came on this above their standard package are the True Glow sights. But the one thing about this package, and we're still going to look at the interior, but I just really want to bring this up. The cost on this is $755, and that includes a brand new Glock 43 pistol. Now, if you go with some of the other models of Glock, like the Model 19 or 23 or 22 or 17, they run $799 for a Gen 3, and I think it's a little more for the Gen 4. You can go to the HD Firearms website and look at all the different prices. In fact, you can go to HD website and look at all the different features that we're talking about and some of the options that they offer. Now we're going to double check to make sure the gun is unloaded, and what we're going to do is check the trigger pull. 5 pounds 11 ounces. So we have about the same weight that you're typically getting with your factory gun. Now one thing they do though is it makes it a lot more crisp. So we're going to check the trigger take up. A nice crisp snap. You can tell there's the reset. The reset's actually a little better than typical. Now let's check that against our standard Glock 43. We'll make sure the gun is unloaded. Definitely a smoother trigger pull, and again that has to do with a lot of it with just the polishing of the internals. Yeah, this is definitely a nicer trigger pull. Now there are certain things you can do. Again, you can get an aftermarket trigger to really get that trigger pull down. You can get a ghost disconnector, things like that to be able to reduce it. But with the polishing job, it just really makes it a lot smoother. So let's go ahead and break the pistol down, and it's clear. Pull the trigger, pull your tabs down. Now here we have the standard Glock 43 here at the top, and we have the RX1 at the bottom. You can see the polished areas all along, all those points, those stress points, even the slide rails themselves. And again, this does aid in the smoothness of the trigger. So that's one of the things you're going to get is this internal, all the internal parts in the correct areas polished. That's one thing you'll also notice with the Striker Safety Plunger. This has been polished. This is one area that really definitely needs to be polished. And then here is just the standard. There's some rough edges. It's funny because it's almost like they're incremental. You don't really notice them, but if you polish that down, it makes a world of difference. And then also on your striker face right here, that's been polished, whereas on the standard 43 it has not been. Now I want to show the original Glock 43 compared to the RX1 43. Of course we have Talon grips on here, which definitely make a difference. I love Talon grips. With the stippling, you're not going to need any kind of aftermarket grip. And that's going to actually reduce the width and the width here. Because even though Talon grips are very thin, and I love them, it definitely adds a little bit of stickability. And so this just kind of takes that away. Another thing that I have different on this particular pistol is we have excess sights right here on the top, which I love the big dot excess sights. But other than that, this gun is pretty much stock. You can see, of course, your front slide serrations, which you don't have here on the front of the 43. But one thing that I want you to definitely notice is the difference in this undercut. Here from the top, you can see that it extends out. Here, it's a very small area. There's a definite difference between the two. And guys, I'm telling you, that Glock knuckle can be very painful if you're shooting a lot of rounds through your pistol. Here we can compare the slide cuts compared to just the flat surface. Now again, this is optional. If you don't want that, maybe you don't want debris, things like that could build up in this area, you can go with just the plain slide with no cuts. Also, you can see the black Cerakote coming through with the RX1, whereas you have your standard finish, which is kind of a gray finish, but just gives you an idea. Now, the good thing is that even under this Cerakote, you're going to have that Thr-like finish underneath. So while this makes it look nice and it has a really smooth feel to it, in fact, really a sweet, slick feel to it, this is going to hold up very well because you've got double protection. And you can take that for what it's worth. We're going to be shooting some Freedom Munitions Pro Match and American Steel. This is good shooting stuff. They also give a 5% discount using Suit00 when you go to freedommunitions.com. So we took the RX1 G43 down to the range, shot about 200 rounds through it, no malfunctions at all, not even any hiccups. You know, it is a Glock. One of the things they do to these pistols is polish down all the rough edges. It makes the trigger pull, just improves it greatly. And so with that, the nice trigger pull, it made it really good to be able to get those second, third follow-up shots hitting steel. One thing too is with the texturing, you have a little more aggressiveness, so you feel like you've got the pistol in your hand. It's not going to slip out. Now they do have the finger rest right here, and that's the one that I was shooting, but I was also shooting it without. Definitely gives you a little bit of a boost, but this comes with the regular Glocks. The slide cuts didn't take away from the reliability of the pistol and actually lighten the slide just a little bit, which makes it nice. Plus, it just looks cool, and that's definitely a plus. The front slide serrations are nice and they are aggressive. It makes it really simple to be able just to pull this back, do your press checks, or if you just want to go ahead and load your weapon. I mean, it makes it really easy to do. And it really makes it look good. You know, a lot of guys were complaining about the Gen 5 coming out without these front slide serrations, and here we have them. Also with the stippling on the grip, I like how they keep it into the panels. So you've got just in those areas where you need it. And to be honest with you, the front and back strap are where you really need most of your texturing. But instead of right here on these sides, you know, it really kind of tones it in. It makes it look really nice. Overall, I think the pistol just has a great look to it. And I want to thank ShootSteel.com for providing the targets. You can get a 10% discount using Suits00 at ShootSteel.com. So you can check out more details at hdfirearms.com, and I want to thank Lee and the guys at Head Down for sending this G43 for this test and evaluation. This is a beautiful little handgun and one that I will be concealed carrying. I love carrying the Glock pistol. It's so simple and easy to carry, and with the size of the G43, this is going to be a great concealed carry option. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. alongside them polishing all the surfaces to make the trigger guard. And so it's just a nice pistol. Just makes it easier to get your reset. It makes it easier. We're going to be shooting some Freedom Munitions, Pro Match, and American Steel. Custom carry packages. Custom. Plus, they have beautiful gun. It shoots fantastic and awesome and wonderful. And Rubber Dummy was another victim of Hurricane Irma. Such a sad tale. Let's get up so I can shoot you.